All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Lunch with Guidance. I'm Amanda DeMarzo, the assistant principal. You have an hour long of the counselors explaining about graduation requirements, and you have post-secondary options and also community service. So at this time, I'd like to welcome the counselors and begin the presentations. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miss McManaman. I am one of the counselors here at West Orange. So you will know who your child's counselor is based on their last name. So if you look at the presentation, you'll see that Mrs. Walker has last names A through CH. I have last names CI through FI. Mrs. Mazer has last names FL through JA. Mrs. Wood has last names JE through MCK. Mrs. Samaru has MCL through PO, Mrs. Sumter has PR through SM, and Miss Aristor has SN through Z. Now you can make an appointment with your counselor by going to the West Orange School website, clicking on the Student Services tab, and then clicking on the Guidance Counselor section, and there are links there to make an appointment. You can also email your counselor, and you would be able to set up an appointment that way as well. Now to introduce the deans, we have Mr. Howell, and he is over last names A through D. Mrs. Joyner is over last names E through L. Mr. Custodio is over last names M through R. And finally, Miss Smith is over last names S through Z. Then at the bottom, we have some other important people. So we have Mrs. K. She is our student services clerk. If you ever come up here to student services, she is the lovely lady at the desk out there. Mrs. Bateman, she is our wonderful college and career specialist. Ms. Heidelberg is our career specialist that is with the Orange Technical Center. Then we have Mrs. Minguez, she is our English language support specialist. Mrs. Webster is our ESE staffing specialist, and Mrs. Mitchell is our 504 coordinator. All right, so in order to graduate, high school students, they need to earn a total of 24 credits in certain subject areas. So I'm going to review that with you all right now. So for English, all students must take English every year they are in high school. So freshman year, they would take English 1, sophomore year, English 2, English 3 in junior year, and English 4 in senior year. 1 year of class is equal to 1 credit. Then for math, there are 4 required credits. Now this one, students must take Algebra 1, and they also must take Geometry. After they have completed those 2 courses, they are able to choose what other math courses they would take. If you do have a student who took Algebra 1 or Geometry in middle school, we still recommend that they take at least 1 math class each year in order to keep practicing those math skills to make them better prepared for college. For science, there are 3 credits that students must earn. So 1 is biology. Every student must take biology and pass biology, and then they are able to choose the other 2 science classes that they wish to take. Now, only 3 are required for graduation, but as counselors, we do recommend doing a total of 4 to make the student more appealing to colleges. They really love to see that the student is doing science each year. Then for our social studies required credits for graduation, freshman year they do not take a social studies class. They may choose to take a geography class, but that is an elective. And then sophomore year they would take world history. Junior year they would take a year of US history. And then senior year they are required to take 2 classes, American government and economics. And as you can see on the chart, it says 0.5/0.5. That is because these 2 classes are each a semester long. So for example, they would take government first semester and then economics second semester. Together would be 1 full credit. Then some other required courses is all students must take at least 1 year of a fine arts credit. So fine arts, they are able to choose which fine art they want to take. Some examples would be like theater, ceramics, drawing. There are other fine arts credits that, like digital information tech, it is a computer class, but it still satisfies that fine arts credit. All students are also required to take HOPE. That is a PE class, but is a specific PE class for health and personal education, personal fitness education, and they must take 1 year of HOPE. Then all students must also take complete 8 electives, so that is 8 credits. So they must do 8 full credits worth of electives in order to make 24. Now you can see at the bottom here, it says 2 years of ROTC can satisfy the HOPE and Fine Arts requirement for graduation. So this means that a student, if they do ROTC for 2 full years, they can get a waiver so they do not have to take HOPE and Fine Arts. And because the ROTC that they did will satisfy that credit. Now, one thing that you will have to pay attention to is that student will still need 24 credits in order to graduate. So if they do not take the Fine Arts and HOPE credit, they just need to make sure that they still have 24 credits. Those extra credits can be made up through electives. Now, the second bullet point says 2 years of the same foreign language is required for the Bright Future Scholarship and college admissions. As you can see on the chart here, foreign language is not required for high school graduation, but it is required for college admission and also for the Bright Future Scholarship. So this means that a student must take 2 years of a foreign language in the same language. So for example, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. If your child took Spanish 1 in middle school, but it was a high school level Spanish 1, that counts as a high school course. Now, a student cannot take Spanish 1 and French 1, it would not satisfy that requirement. It needs to be 2 years in the same language. All right, and just to continue with some other graduation requirements that do not have to do with the classes, all students must have a 2.0 unweighted GPA. Later on in this presentation, we will go over the difference between weighted and unweighted, but just know that in order to graduate, a 2.0 unweighted GPA is required. All students must also complete one high school online course. So this can be done through Florida Virtual School, OCVS, or our blended U.S. government. So if a student is in U.S. government and is not AP or dual enrollment, they are then in the blended U.S. government, and that will satisfy that requirement. There are 2 testing requirements in order for students to graduate. The first one is a reading test, and that is the reading FSA. Students will take this during their 10th grade year, and if they do not pass it, they will have other opportunities in junior and senior year to take the test again in order to pass. If they do not pass, but they earn a qualifying concordant score on the SAT or the ACT, which you can see is at the table to the right, we will accept that as them passing the FSA, and that will satisfy that requirement. The next required test would be the Algebra 1 end of course exam. So students, after they finish Algebra 1, they would take an EOC. If they earn a level 3 or higher, they would then earn that requirement. They also have other tests they can take in order to achieve this requirement. As you can see at the table, the PSAT in the math section, if they earn a 430 on the PSAT, we will accept that as a passing score. The SAT math, a 420, and the ACT math, a 16. Or at the end of geometry, they take a geometry EOC, and if they earn a level 3 or higher on that test, we also accept that as a passing score for the math graduation requirement. Finally, there are some courses that do require EOCs. So as I said before, Algebra 1 and Geometry, but also students who are in Biology and U.S. History, they will take an EOC, and that test will count as 30% of their final grade. But they would only take the EOC if they were at a Florida public school. If you had a student who took, let's say, biology at a school outside of the state of Florida or a private school, then and they finished the class and passed, they would not have to test for that exam.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Stephanie Walker, and I'm going to go over the Diploma Designations and Accelerated classes with you. In addition to a high school diploma, a student can earn diploma designations for having completed specific criteria. The scholar's designation requires the student to earn specific credit and pass all EOCs. One important addition to this information is that if you complete your U.S. history credit at Valencia through dual enrollment or take AP U.S. history and do not pass the AP exam, you'll need to request to take the EOC through our testing coordinator, Mrs. Kimberly Wells. If you took biology or geometry and your EOC was waived by the state, you will also need to request to take the assessments through our testing coordinator in order to meet the criteria for the scholar's diploma. And again, when you take these, you must pass them. Students need to monitor their Canvas accounts to see when the link to sign up becomes available. The merit designation requires you to pass an industry certification, which can be obtained by taking an accelerated course such as Agri-Science Foundations, Digital Information Technology, and many more. The biliteracy designation requires a student to earn 4 credits in the same world language while maintaining a B average and obtaining required test scores. Acceleration classes are courses that a student takes where they have the opportunity to earn an industry certification or college credit. Our goal is for all of our students to graduate college and career ready. The state of Florida expects all high school students to graduate with at least one accelerated opportunity. We provide this opportunity to all students in each grade level every year.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Sumter, and I wanted to go ahead and go over GPA, which is grade point average. This is very important because this determines how a student graduates, because we're looking at their grades, and when we calculate their grades, what that GPA comes up to. We also have AP and dual enrollment courses and honors. Colleges also look at this. They will look at weighted GPAs, and this takes in consideration those more higher advanced courses. On a table that we have, you'll see that each grade has a number that's related to it. So you have A, B, C, D, or F that the students could earn. You will see if a student earned an A, is 4 points towards that class for graduation. If it was an honors class, that same A is worth 5 points. And if it's an AP or dual enrollment class, it is worth 6 points. For a D, across the board, it's all worth only 1 point. If a student received an F in that class, it's only worth 0 points. So not worth, but it's only 0 points that they could earn. If a student needed to retake a class, they could go ahead and do that also to make sure that they got their grades up again. With the unweighted, what we look at is having a GPA of at least a 2.0, which is a C average. With colleges, they do, once again, look at weighted. If a student is taking AP and honors courses, they will see that they have 2 GPAs. They will have the unweighted GPA, and that's the one that determines graduation, and then they'll have weighted, and the colleges will look at those because this looks at basically your core classes, which is English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language. If your student is struggling in class, you need to go ahead and have your child, go ahead and contact the teacher. They are now in high school, and we would love for them to advocate for themselves. If your student doesn't feel comfortable with going up to the teacher to talk about how they're struggling and what can they do to help improve their grade, they can go ahead and email the teacher. Our email addresses are always our first name last name @ocps.net. We also do offer tutoring. Right now, we offer tutoring on Tuesdays and Thursdays for math. If a student is having problems in that particular course, they need to find out from that individual teacher if they offer tutoring. It's not that they have to offer tutoring, but they may go ahead and do it for the students. They may do it before school or after school, but a teacher is not required to give tutoring to their students. If a student feels like, okay, I've gone to tutoring, or I feel like I'm still struggling in this class, we're suggesting as the parent, you all need to contact the teacher, go ahead and email that teacher. Maybe you guys can set up a phone conference together. If you wanted to meet them in person, you could go ahead and speak with them via telephone or through email, and you guys can have a face-to-face meeting. And with that one, if it's just one teacher, you could just go ahead and set up a time and a date for that. If you are requesting multiple teachers in a conference, please go ahead and contact us, and we will go ahead and set up that meeting for you. And then you'll have the kid, hopefully they'll go ahead and come because they are needed, and then the teachers will be present. If you feel like you still need us, the guidance counselor, to go ahead and step in, we will be able to do that. Just let us know and we'll be there for you. I mentioned grade forgiveness policy. A student can retake any high school class that they receive a D in or an F in for grade forgiveness. What this means is they will retake that class again, and if they get a grade that's either a C or higher, that grade will be determined in their GPA. We will always see that they retook a class. So if a student was taking English and they earned a D in it, and they went ahead and retook and it had an A, the D would not be calculated in their GPA, only the A would. But they will always see visibly the D that is on the transcript. So the colleges will see it, but they'll see that your student, they really worked hard and they retook the class and they got a higher grade. On the transcript, when you're looking at that D or F and they retook it, you will see an X next to it, which means that it has been excluded from their GPA, but it will always be visible to the colleges and to you. You'll see it on your transcript, but it's not calculated into the GPA.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wood, and I will be reviewing Advanced Placement, Dual Enrollment, Bright Futures, and Community Service. Advanced Placement versus Dual Enrollment is always a hot topic for students and parents. Which one is right? Which one is better? Which one makes me look more competitive? Neither is right or wrong, better or worse. Both are great. Both are college level and both are weighted on a 6-point scale. Dual enrollment and AP classes are considered challenging, or we often use the word rigorous, and it helps students build a well-rounded resume. Colleges want to see that students are taking classes that challenge themselves. In the same breath, they want to see them being successful at the same time. Therefore, each student will need to pick what is best for their unique abilities. If you're unsure which is best for you, well, your child, try both. You can do dual enrollment and AP at the same time. We at West Orange offer many dual enrollment opportunities to explore, including Valencia, UF, UCF, and even Orange Technical College. Florida students have the opportunity to earn the Bright Futures Scholarship, which pays for part of or all of their college tuition. Eligibility is broken down into 4 areas, as you see here. Their core classes, including at least 2 years of the same foreign language, GPA, which is recalculated by Bright Futures, ACT and SAT scores, and community service hours. There are several different levels of this award. The first is the academic award. It's the top award that pays for 100% of the student's college tuition. This award requires a 3.5 weighted GPA, which Bright Futures recalculates using only core courses in foreign language, at least a 29 on the ACT or 1330 on the SAT, and 100 community service hours. The next level is the medallion, and it pays for 75% of the student's college tuition. This award requires a 3.0 weighted GPA, again, recalculated by Bright Futures, at least a 25 on the ACT or a 12-10 on the SAT, and 75 hours of community service. The Gold Seal Award is available for students interested in attending a post-secondary institution that offers an applied technology diploma, a technical degree education program, what we know as an AS degree, or a career certification program. To earn this award, a student must have at least 3 credits in one career and tech educational program with at least a 3.5 GPA in those 3 courses. and then also have a 3.0 overall cumulative GPA, including the foreign language, and have the required test scores listed here. Even if your student doesn't plan to attend a college in Florida, we still really encourage them to apply during their senior year. This award will stay with them for up to 5 years after they graduate. So if they go off to an out-of-state college and change their mind and want to come back home, it will be there for them. As you know, sometimes life throws us a curveball and we never know what's going to happen. So it's always good to have that in our back pocket. In order to be eligible for Bright Futures, to build a competitive resume for colleges and post-secondary plans, and to offer assistance in the community, students should complete community service. The community service process starts with the proposal form that is listed here. A student should complete this before starting their hours to ensure that their activity will be approved for Bright Futures. Once their proposal is approved, they will log their hours on the following page. It's the second page of this form, which is the log sheet. And then they'll turn in both pages together when they're finished working with that specific organization. Hours will only be added to a student's transcript and thus reported to Bright Futures if a student gives those forms to their counselor. So if they're completing hours in a club or a class or an organization, and they hand the hours into the organizer of that group, if it doesn't ever land in the hands of the guidance counselor, it will never be on their transcript and reported to Bright Futures. So it's very important that they always turn hours in to their counselor.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mrs. Samro, and I'll be talking about SAT and ACT and free and reduced lunch. As you can see on screen, we have the Saturday administrations of the SAT and ACT dates. At the bottom, there are some dates for the in-school administration, so please make note of those. Those are usually on one of those long Wednesdays that we have. But for the SAT and the ACT, there are two dates, their registration deadline. There is a regular deadline and a late deadline. If you miss the regular deadline, there is a fee that incurs with the late registration. So please make note of that. We usually recommend that a student start taking the SAT or ACT around December of their junior year. We offer the PSAT each year, so that's 9th through 11th, so that students could have ample time to practice before taking the actual test. This also gives students enough time to take both the SAT and ACT and to figure out which test they like better and which one, of course, they do better on. As was mentioned previously, if a junior or senior has failed their 10th grade FSA, the SAT or the ACT can be used for a concordant score, and that score replaces their FSA score. If you have individual questions on that, please reach out to your student's counselor. If you think you qualify for a free and reduced lunch, which is up on screen now, the application for the 2021 and 2022 school year is still open, so please apply. If you see on screen, you'll notice that there are benefits such as 2 free SAT assessments, 4 free ACT assessments, free SAT and ACT score reports sent to colleges, and college application fees waived, but only some colleges do that. So contact your child's counselor to check to see if you're eligible for that. And as you go on to the OCPS's website, you will do, in the search box, you'll do a search for free and reduced lunch application, and that is how you would access the application.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I am Sarah Bateman. I'm the College and Career Specialist here at West Orange. I'm an extension to the guidance counselor, so I want to take the time to really dive into all the post-secondary plans that high schoolers have post-graduation. We do spend a lot of time talking about 2 and 4 year college options, but that is for some majority of our students. And the other majority of our students, there's a plethora of choices and options for them after high school. So we really wanted to take the time to individually speak and kind of expound more on the different options outside of a traditional 2 or 4 year college program. So the first post-secondary option that I want to talk about is the military. This is actually the nation's largest employer. We have more people employed by the military than any other career occupation in the nation. It's also a wide variety. If it's a lot of our students or community members believe that, you know, the military is you're at the front line and in war-torn countries, which is a version of the military, yes, but there's a plethora of occupations and advantages and really opportunities within the military that have nothing to do with battle or being on the front line or anything to do with being in a more deployment style position. There are direct enlisting options through the military, but there's also military options where a student can do the ROTC program in college and then enlist in the military afterwards. There's military academies that do academics first, and a student can earn a full bachelor's degree at one of our military academies and then transition to the military. There's also the reserves and National Guards that students can do in lieu of going to, or in addition while they're going to college. There's training in over 2,000 jobs that each military branch can offer, as well as travel and advertisement opportunities. Some students who enlist in the military after high school can go forth with it with a high school diploma, and then maybe 5, 10, 15 years after devoting their time in the military, most of these branches will also pay for college as well if a student wants to earn a 2 years associate's degree or even a bachelor's program as well. So it's a great financial opportunity for students to have college paid for and or to do a wide variety of jobs around the nation. So military is a great option that we speak to students. We also have all the branches who visit us on a regular basis. Usually they come during lunchtime. Last year, of course, things were very different than what our visits had looked like previously, but I have already met with 3 of the branches. The Army, the Navy, and the Marines have already started their visits with us. They usually come once to twice a month, and it's during students just lunchtime, and any grade level and any student can approach any of the recruiters and start a conversation in that process of their post-secondary options with the military after high school. Another post-secondary option I want to speak to is first responders. Sometimes students believe that you need to go to a college to become a police officer or a firefighter or an EMT, and that's actually not true. There are police academies, paramedic academies, and also fire academies that just need a diploma or a GED and maybe a supplemental assessment to take before actually going to that set academy. In blue on this screen, you'll see how many current paramedics, firefighters, police, and 911 dispatchers we have in the United States. So yes, the military is one of our biggest occupations in the nation. First responders are almost about the second biggest occupation around the nation. So that's another great talking point we say to our students. I have listed kind of each qualifications per first responders qualification. And a lot of times students don't realize that a 911 dispatcher, which is the front line really of first responding, that is a career choice that students can go into if and when they are working towards their police, EMT, or fire department goals after high school. We do have 2 or 3 programs in the Orlando area. All 3 of these academies are available for students in Central Florida. And actually, Valencia College has an EMT paramedic program that they have at their college as well. So it is, some are based in the state colleges system, but there are separate academies as well locally. The next area that I really want to talk to is a career and technical college. One of the best well-known ones we have in Central Florida is Orange Technical College. However, just about every county in Florida and really around the nation have career and technical programs, specifically to its career-oriented and career-driven education. So students who are tired of taking math and science and history and no longer want to earn an associate's arts degree or an associate's of science degree at a traditional college, but they do want to be certified and have a career in a well-known area. Sometimes career or an Orange Technical College option is for that type of student who no longer wants to do math, science, English, or history, but want to learn particularly hands-on, specific, career-oriented certifications. I would say a career and technical college would be their pathway. I have a few reasons and pros to going to a technical college. That's in kind of the orange boxes. It's smaller class sizes, multiple locations, career focused, but it really is for the student who still wants to earn some type of certification or industry experience without having to continue with math, science, and history. Orange Technical College, I can speak specifically to that here. There's 5 location campuses just in Central Florida alone in Orange County, all the way from, there's one right across the street from us in Winter Garden and up to Winter Park. So their campuses are all over Orlando, and they have over 50 different college industry certifications. I have those in blue, but there's even more. I couldn't list them all here. But there's a lot of times students who maybe want to be a graphic designer. That doesn't necessarily need a bachelor's degree to be web design or a web developer. Orange Tech could get that certification. It's more affordable. It's a faster program. It's just as valuable having an industry certification sometimes than a traditional college degree, and it gets you right into your career choice faster at a very reasonable price situation as well. So I can't speak highly about our Orange Tech program, but really the career and technical college programs around the state are phenomenal. In addition to that, there is an Tech Express to Valencia relationship. I will speak to another type of relationship of starting at a Valencia college and transitioning to a 4-year bachelor's program, but specifically staying on the conversation of Orange Technical College. There's a Tech to Express to Valencia. So Orange Technical College and Valencia have a relationship together, and a student can be starting at Orange Technical College and be working in an approved Orange Tech program. There's over 39 programs that Orange Tech has an accreditation with Valencia, and they do their program at Orange Technical College. Then they transfer to Valencia. The courses that they've already taken in that approved program already gives them college coursework and classes that they don't have to take. So maybe it's just a supplemental 2 or 3 additional classes at Valencia, and they can earn an associate's of science degree at Valencia, which is a true college degree. It's a 2-year college degree, and on top of having a certification in a career. So sometimes students who go right into the career of their choice with a certificate or an industry certification will be at a set hourly price or a set salary. Having that extra associate's arts degree the associate's in science degree can possibly up their pay or provide them to be at another bracket because they have a college degree attached to their certification. There's also apprenticeship programs. I'm going to speak about apprenticeships in just a moment, but within this Tech to Express option for students, there's 39 programs at Orange Tech with an additional 10 apprenticeship programs that can be the direct connect between Orange Tech and Valencia. So apprenticeship programs is a great, really option for students if the military is not something that they want to navigate through, first responders, or even Orange Technical College. If none of those 3 are a viable option for students, they have apprenticeship programs. So apprenticeship programs are a student can literally be job shadowing. It's really an internship, but it's a paid internship. And again, it's very similar programs actually at Orange Technical College or at a career technical program, but it is Florida, the state of Florida has its own apprenticeship program. I do have the state here on the screen. The reason why it's multicolored is the state of Florida is broken down into 5 different regions. So Central Florida is the orange kind of colors. So a student can complete their apprenticeship in any of the counties that are highlighted in orange or any of the other regions that they would like to do so. But what it is, it's really on-the-job training with an apprentice. It's really an internship. That meaning if they want to go into auto mechanic, let's say, then this program in Florida will find an auto shop or a mechanical shop or a particular company that's part of the apprenticeship program, and the student can just go there and get all the training that they need. They do earn an hourly wage. It's no cost to them to be in this apprenticeship program. And then once they have served enough hours underneath this leadership and they pass the certifications that they need to, then they can go forth into their desired occupation. So there are apprenticeship programs within the Orange Technical College platform, but there's also a separate just apprenticeship programs that's its own kind of organization within the state of Florida. But it's on the job training. It's a fast track into the career that they want. And it's expanding into a ton of more than 1,200 occupations around the nation. And it's a great, great avenue for students who are just no longer wanting to be in a traditional classroom setting after post-secondary. Lastly, we have workforce. Some students graduate high school and they go right into the workforce when they graduate with a high school diploma. I want to take a moment to kind of show you some of the professional careers that only need a high school diploma that a student can start at after they graduate high school. So they are listed here. I won't go through them all. Of course, I couldn't list all of the workforce options that a student could have an entry-level job with a high school diploma, but I did want to highlight some of well-known careers that really do not have anything additional than what a high school diploma will require. Of course, if students start within the job force and they work their way up to possibly a managerial position or a manager spot, they might have to continue on with earning an associate's arts degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree. But to get their foot through the door and be an entry-level professional, there are a plethora of great options for them just needing a high school diploma. So I talked a lot about post-secondary options outside of the college and universities. Next week, if you're here, again, thank you for joining us. I am hosting a specific college admissions, college options, and really 2- and 4-year programs. It was just too long to fit it within this presentation. So it's next Tuesday from 12 to 1 as well. If you can't make it next Tuesday, we will record it just like we're recording this session with you. And so it will be posted and viewed later. So I'm just going to be lightly touching college and university in this presentation, but I will be able to dive much deeper into that post-secondary option solely in that presentation. But students have 2 different types of options after high school. They can go into a state college, which is the left-hand column, where they can be working on an associate's arts degree or an associate's of science degree. That's 60 credits, and usually they're most notorially called a community college or a 2-year college. So I have some options. We have probably about 35 to 40 different state college opportunities within the state of Florida. The most well-known one in Central Florida, of course, is Valencia College. Valencia actually has 2 4-year programs, 2 4-year degrees. So they're actually not a community college. They have a business degree and they also have a nursing degree. So they did get to drop their community word. So they are Valencia College, but they also have a great Associates of Arts program. And that's a lot of times students will start at a state college like Santa Fe or Valencia or Seminole State College and then transfer to a bachelor's program, most well known as a 4-year college. That's 120 credits. And those options, as you can see, are on the right-hand side of your screen. That can be in-state, out-of-state. Sometimes students believe that if the word college is associated in the name, that it is an associate's college. I wanted to show on there, Dartmouth College is coded as a college, Flagler College, as well as College of Charleston. So college and university is changed interchangeably with a 4-year program. But if a student starts at a state college like Valencia and they want to transfer to a 4-year program, then they would be working on their Associates of Arts degree, an AA degree. But we will dive more into those options next week at the Lunch with Guidance at 12 on Tuesday.
Hey guys, I'm Julie Mazer, and I'm going to discuss the holistic approach and SCORE. Whether college is part of your post-secondary goals or not, it is so important to remain involved. Colleges, they want to see success in your academics and good test scores, but it's not all they want to see. Equally, a potential employer may want to see that students have earned their high school diploma, but they'll also ask about your activities and passions that they pursue. So involvement is not subjective. Listed on the slide are 4 different categories. There's clubs and organizations, sports, community service, and part-time jobs. These are all different ways that students can get more involved outside of the classroom, and one is not better than the other. These activities should speak to your child's interest and passions. The quality is better than quantity. This means that it may be okay for students to try out many things in, let's say, 9th grade year, but by the time they're 10th and 11th grade, they should really try to be settled and remain involved in their areas of interest. They should also try to take on leadership roles where possible. SCORE. All right, this is something new that kind of rolled out last year. OCPS, they moved to this new college planning system, and it's called SCORE. It's designed to break down the college admission process into manageable steps that'll help students evaluate all the important questions, one step, one day at a time. Students, they're able to search for colleges based on personal and academic interests. They'll build their college resumes, they can explore campus communities, and try to understand what would be the best environment and fit for them personally. Once a student activates their SCORE account in the Launchpad, they can immediately begin using the program. And so for you guys, parents, you do have the availability to view your child's profile, see their college list, conduct your own researches, and suggest colleges for your child to consider. SCORE can also provide parents with financial tools that they can better get a sense of the cost of attendance at various colleges during the selection process. Once a student gains access to their SCORE, they can then send you an email invitation to be able to link to their personal SCORE account. And then to stay involved in the loop with what's going on, you can join our text reminds by texting 81010 to the appropriate message associated with your grade level. This will stay with them for the length of their high school career, so you don't have to change it the following year or the year after. You can stop the text messages at any time if it gets a little too much. The PTSO has a newsletter that's amazing. They do a great job at getting information out. You can also like us on any of the social media platforms or visit our website to stay up to date of all the information associated with West Orange.
Hi guys, so I'm Miss Restore. So I'm just going to go over some of the tools that you guys may need to know how to use as parents. And then I'll close this out and allow some questions in the chat. But to begin, we have Canvas here. So Canvas is a great tool for you as parents to be able to track what your students have coming up or what they're currently working on as far as assignments. So it's very specific. So you do want to activate your Canvas account. To activate your Canvas account, you'll want to go to canvasparent.ocps.net. Once you go to that website, there is a prompt that allows you to basically create your parent portal. So to create your parent portal, you do have to use the email that you provided when registering your child. So that's how you're linked to their account. So once you utilize that email that we have on file, you'll be able to create a password. So once you have your email, your password, the next step is to actually be paired with your child. So if you have multiple children in OCPS schools, You'll need a pairing code for each one. To get that pairing code, you'll need it from your student. If they don't know how to access it, either one of their teachers will be able to assist you as well, so that you can get paired to your child, and then you'll have your own account to be able to review basically their different classes and assignments. So this is very, very important, just so that you guys can do your part in supporting them as well, because you don't have to then rely on your student to log into their Canvas and show you their assignments. You'll be able to track it yourself through your own parent portal. The next tool I'm going to go over with you guys is Skyward. So we've been using Skyward for a few years now. Skyward is where you would go if you want to see all of your students' grades in one platform. So the reason why Canvas is important that you guys check more frequently is because that one may be more up to date as far as what assignments they may have submitted that day or that may be coming up that week. Skyward, on the other hand, is what teachers update with their finalized grades. So sometimes this may not be most up to date the day of. If a student just submitted an assignment or if they just took a test, the grade may not be on Skyward. But Skyward is definitely important to review how your student's doing overall. So to activate your Skyward account, you would go to the link that we have here on the screen. So the https parents.classlink.com/OCPS. Or if you want to download the actual app, the ClassLink Launchpad app is a way that right at your fingertips, you can have access to your student's Skyward account. Similar to Canvas, you would have to link your account using the email that you provided us at the time of registration, or even registration if you're coming from Sunridge, whatever one we would have on file. Or you can also use the phone number that we have on file for you as well. If you're having any issues at all when it comes to Skyward, our amazing clerk, Ms. Cheryl, or Ms. K is what we call her, you'll be able to email her or call Student Services. Her contact email or her contact information is on the screen here as well, because we did have a few glitches for some students, for parents that had students at multiple schools. So if for any reason you're having difficulties accessing your Skyward account, be sure to reach out so we can get you guys connected. So now that we've given you guys such great information, you guys can now, if you have additional questions, you can write it in the chat, because we do have different counselors here monitoring it. For those who are watching this as a recording, or for those of you guys that may think of a question later on, you guys can actually send us your questions through the tiny URL link that's on the page here. The link will be active up until Friday, so you guys are welcome to send us your questions that we can answer. And then after that, you feel free to actually email your counselor or the teachers if it's something very specific to a particular class. But we want to thank you guys for spending your lunch break with us, and we hope that you guys enjoyed all the information that we provided. And then we'll be here for the next about 10 minutes or so answering your questions in the chat. But you guys enjoy the rest of your day.